through last night, but it's starting to burn off a little bit. So today, in the spirit of trying to be frugal and saving a little bit of money, with this whole pandemic thing going on, trying to be cost effective, we are going to be smoking a cheap cigar. In fact, we are going to be smoking a cheap ass cigar. Literally. Cheap ass cigar. So this is a very long cigar. I want to say that this is at least a Toro. I think they call it a Toro Grande. Actually, it says right here on the wrapper that it's the Churchill. So this is a Churchill. I believe this will be my first time ever smoking a Churchill-sized cigar. So we'll see how long this actually lasts. A little bit of homework for you guys on this one. So like I said, this is the Churchill, which is a 7x50. They also come in two other sizes. So they have a Toro Grande is what they call it. It's a 6x54. And then a Torpedo style, which is the 6.5x52. All the prices I found online for them were about $44 a bundle. So it's a bundle of 20. $44, you're looking about $2 stick. If I could pull off the top of my head how much these cost at a local B&M, I'd say it's right in that $2 to $3 range. So it is a very cheap cigar. I found two different somewhat credible sites, right? One of them being Factory Direct Cigars. Their wrapper binder filler breakdown was a Connecticut shade wrapper, undisclosed binder if there is one, and then the filler is supposed to be a combination of Dominican and Honduran tobacco, and they said that it is, quote, nicely constructed and dependable flavor. So we'll see how well that holds up. The other site I kind of looked at didn't really have much. Basically said that it was a Cuban sandwich style cigar with a Sumatran wrapper. Who's right? I don't know. I can't really find a whole lot of good info on this cigar. So we're gonna cut it up, light it up, smoke it, and see what we think. Now the second site that I saw was Cigar Bundles of Miami, which is the one that said this had a Sumatran wrapper on it. And they said, quote, taste is in the V-cut. So apparently they taste a lot better with a V-cut. However, I don't have a V-cut anymore, so we're going to go ahead and just use our our double guillotine Zycar today, as usual. So let's get this opened up. We'll see what we got here. This actually already has what I would call a half-assed V-cut already in the head or the cap. So we're not even going to cut it. We're just going to take it as it is. So the wrapper, very lumpy and bumpy. It's got like a nice natural color to it. But it's very rough, rugged. Again, I don't know if this is going to focus enough for you to kind of see all the lumps and bumps in there. Lots of veins. Natural looking wrapper. Slightly oily. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it, but nothing spectacular. Feels like it's rolled pretty firmly. Looking at the foot, it's definitely nice layered tobacco. So it doesn't look like there's a bunch of short filler or anything in there. So that's good. Let's see, what else do we got? Talked about the V cut that's already in there, so that's nice, right? They already come cut. On the wrapper, it's got like that slight barnyard smell. And then, yeah, just like a sweet tobacco basically on the foot. I'm working ahead of myself a little bit here today. We got some traffic kind of coming in and out, and neighbors kind of looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? And the cleaning lady just showed up, so, we got a lot of foot traffic, which is funny because aren't we supposed to be in quarantine lockdown? Come on. Anyway, cold draw. It's got a nice medium draw to it. It's not too firm, not too light. And it's basically just like a sweet musty tobacco, kind of like a sweet tobacco with a little bit of dirt tossed in there. Yeah. So, without any further ado, let's get this thing lit up. Today we're going to be using the single jet Firebird, just because this is only a 50 ring gauge. It's pretty tiny. I fear that with something this small, if I use the quad jet, we might burn it up a little bit. So, we definitely don't want to do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and toast the foot a little bit here, and then we'll try to get her rolling. How's everybody doing today? Good? Hope so. This quarantine business has got me going a little crazy. It's just the boredom. I'm used to being at work all the time and all that business. I actually ran into my boss at the supermarket yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" He says, "Enjoying your time off?" I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to." So I can tell you one thing already. This wrapper does not like extreme heat. As I'm toasting the foot and lighting it here, I could definitely see some shoe shine. A little bit of a thicker mascara line maybe. And the wrapper does seem to want to catch very quickly. Go ahead and throw the lighter in the pocket there. Like I said, it's a little chilly out here today, so we don't want that to puddle out on us. I can tell you already, if you go back and watch my review of the great fucking cigars, this tastes a little bit better than those. Right up front, you got like a little bit of a medicinal note. Some sweet tobacco. And just the slightest black pepper finish on the retrohale. Not too bad, actually. First impressions, I would take this over that great fucking cigar. Which is a shame. Because I decided to go cheap and buy those great fucking cigars for my best friend's bachelor party. And not a big hit. I should have bought these instead. Yeah, not too bad. The cap. So we talked about that half-ass V-cut. That for some reason they cut it in there before they packaged it, which is kind of weird. Because it was packaged in cellophane, and then they come in bundles as well. So that's kind of odd to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just supposed to be like a grab-and-go stick. It could be. Looking at it, it looks like it's a double cap on the head. It's a very sloppy double cap on the head. I mean, other than that, there's not like any imperfections or anything in the wrapper, so that's kind of cool. The band, very cheaply printed, plasticky type band. Nothing too special, but again, all trying to drive the cost down, right? Affordable, frugal. My burn is starting to get a little off already. So this might be one that we have to touch up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, lighting it, I saw a little bit of shoe shine. That mascara line, kind of like a medium-ish. It's not too large, but it's also not super fine. So might have some, just seeing what I have seen already, just in these first couple of minutes here. I'd be willing to bet that there's better grade tobacco in this than the great fucking cigar. There's definitely Dominican tobacco in here. I can taste that. So, and I don't think it's a Sumatran wrapper. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Anyway, let me smoke on this a little bit, guys. I'm going to jot down some of these notes that I just kind of spewed off to you, and we'll see where this takes us. Alright, guys, so tried to prop the camera back up. I'm kind of using makeshift stuff here today. I don't have my tripod or any of that stuff set up out on the deck, so and I couldn't get it. So we're just going to hold the camera. A little bit of an update on this. So we're about an inch or so in. The ash is light gray, some white mixed in, blah, blah, blah. Kind of curvy and wonky, probably due to the lumpiness, bumpiness of the cigar itself, but it's cheap, right? On a good note, the burn is staying fairly even. You got a couple little dives here and there, right? And that side seems to lag behind just a little bit, so. But for the most part, it's evening itself out. I haven't had to do any touch-ups, so that is a plus. The draw is still excellent. Getting a decent amount of smoke output. Flavor remains about the same. I'm starting to pick up a little bit of a cedar note. A little bit of cedar note and maybe a little bit of nuttiness in there too. As far as which website was more credible, I'm going to go with the first one. For the life of me, I can't remember what the name of it was, but so we're looking at a sun-grown wrapper. Nothing really mentioned about binder. To me, it doesn't look like if there is a binder, it's very thick, so maybe it's just a long filler inside of a wrapper. And I'm definitely going to go with the Dominican and Honduran filler, just based on flavor. So I can definitely taste that slight Dominican twang in there. So it definitely has Dominican in it. And then the Honduran tobacco is where we're kind of going to get the cedar and the nuttiness, which is predominantly what I'm tasting in this one. So that website was definitely on par. Decent cigar, not too bad. Definitely something I would pick up for like a Yardgar or, you know, a buddy cigar. You know, you got some friends that come over for poker night, don't really smoke a whole lot, but you want to give them something to kind of tag along with. This would definitely make the cut for that. Speaking of cuts, so this, what we call the half-ass V-cut. Sorry, my camera doesn't focus all that well. You can see a little tuft of wrapper sticking up there. That piece of the wrapper is starting to come up a little bit, but for the most part, although it looks really sloppy, that cut's working pretty well, actually. And there's not a whole lot of saturation going on either, so the tobacco inside, as far as the filler goes, might be a little dry. But it is a Churchill, so that remains to be seen. Once we get farther down, we might get a little saturation on the tip there. But, yeah, so far so good. I guess let's just keep on smoking. Okay, so we did get our first ash drop. It was about an inch, inch and a half. Actually, it's probably closer to an inch and a half to 2 inches. Very flaky ash, so make sure you keep this one away from your lap. Unlike, well, actually, I didn't fare too bad this time. I think most of it hit the deck. So, but definitely very flaky ash, so watch out for that. The flavor profile was heading towards more of an earthy tobacco, along with those nutty flavors and the cedar. Now that the ash has dropped off, that slight medicinal flavor kind of came back. And I'm having a little bit of trouble discerning the medicinal note from that Dominican twang that I always talk about. So those two things might be one and the same. But it definitely has like a nice toasted nut flavor in there now. And the earthy tobacco kind of lingers on the back of the tongue a little bit. So still a decent smoke, especially for the price. I mean, if you're going to say $2 a stick, even at $3 a stick, um, definitely a good one. Going out on the golf course, doing some yard work, like I said, poker game, hanging out with buddies. Um, Definitely a cheap alternative. That is for sure. I might have to get some more of these. All right, guys, so we're about the halfway point. Um, Still holding up pretty well. I did do a purge just because the draw was starting to get a little tight, and that helped out a little bit. And that also brought back some of the nutty flavor as well. So I did the purge because it was, like I said, the draw was getting a little tight, and the flavors were starting to get a little muddled. As you can see, we got the hood up now. We got a little bit of a wind going on here, and it's a little chilly, so need a little extra protection. Ash is very flaky, so I've kind of been tipping that off here and there. Burn is still going fairly well. Have not had to relight or touch anything up, so that's a plus. It does get a little wonky at some points, but it seems to even itself out fairly well. So predominant flavors right now are going to be kind of that toasted nut flavor on the retrohale, as well as like a earthy tobacco is your main core now. That medicinal note's kind of faded away. Still decent smoke output. Mascara line looks about the same. So, the stick's going to be a little average, of course, because of the price point. But I think it's definitely worth smoking, giving it a try, especially at the price point. Like I said, makes a nice everyday or what have you. All right, ladies and gents, we are down to the end on this one. This is about as far as we made it, right? And ash has kind of dropped off. Flavors are getting kind of muddled now. So we're going to call it quits on this one for today. So I'm going to go ahead and run the numbers for you. For price, I'm going to give it a 3. I feel $2 to $3 is fairly average for a cigar in this caliber. Construction, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4. It was very well constructed for a cheap cigar, so that's why I gave it some extra points there. Flavor is going to be 3, average as well. Had that toasted nut, the earthy tobacco, slight medicinal flavor in there, that kind of thing. So fairly average flavors for something like this. Then overall experience is going to be a 3 as well. So that brings us to a 3.25 overall. So definitely something to give a shot. Like I said, it would make a good yard gar, buddy cigar, something to throw in the buddy bag, golf outing, whatever you want to call it. Looking for a cheap smoke, and it's pre-cut, so, that's always a plus too. All right, guys, this is Big T signing off for today. Hopefully everybody's having a good day, and stay smoky.